Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to take a look at the Dark Angels and how we can use the Leviathan box set Space Marine half to start a Dark Angels force. Now, if you have watched one of our videos on Leviathan already, there will be a lot of similar information in this first slide here. We've already done one on the generic Space Marines, and we've done one on Space Wolves as well, but we are going to talk about a couple of different things, but nothing that is really too much in detail, just maybe some other similar units we can use the models in here for a Dark Angels army. But other than that, you might be able to just skip to the next slide if you want, if you've already seen this part of these videos. We're still doing it in all the videos in case someone comes and looks back at this later. So with that said, let's get cracking on. We're going to talk about all the stuff inside the box set, talk about how we can use it on the tabletop, take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial box set, and then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1500 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Dark Angels army in Warhammer 40k 10th edition. And so, to start with, first of all, we have the Captain in Terminator armor. You've got toughness 5, 6 wounds, you've got a variety of different combat weapons. So the model in this box set is equipped with the relic weapon, which has 6 attacks, 2+ to hit, strength 5, -2 AP, damage 2, so a pretty solid weapon. He's also equipped with the Storm Bolter as well, which is his generic sort of weapon he will come with in this particular box set's loadout, though these are handheld weapons and they are in a pretty open pose. If you've got some spare bits around, which you might get from a few of the other kits we're going to talk about in this, you could definitely convert this model up to have some other options. Now, it does have the right to bottle where once per battle round, one unit from your army with this ability can be targeted by a stratagem for 0 CP. This can be used as a stratagem even if that stratagem that you pick has already been used in your turn. On top of that, you give reroll charges for a unit that this model joins, and it can join all varieties of Terminators, including all the different varieties of Dark Angel specific Deathwing Terminators. Now, the Librarian in Terminator armor is fairly similar, can join all of those units of Terminators, including the Deathwing variations, and it also has a Psychic Hood, so it's got a Feel No Pain of 4+ against any Psychic-based attacks, and the Veil of Time allows you to give sustained hits 1 to a unit that it joins. We then look at the Lieutenant with the Combi Weapon, which I think is a really fun unit. This model really has a bit of the narrative of the box set to it, so it does have Anti-Tyranids 4+ on some of its different weaponry, but you are going to get a cool model where it can pick a primary objective, with the primary objective identified aura. At the start of the first battle round, if your army contains one or more models with this ability, you can select one objective marker on the battlefield to be the priority objective. Until the end of the round, while a friendly Adeptus Starters unit is within 6 inches of this model, and it targets an enemy unit that is on the priority objective, you can reroll wound rolls of 1, which is really nice. Evade and Survive as well is a super good ability for keeping this model down, especially since it's a lone operative, so it can't join any other units, and is an infiltrator, so generally it will be in a danger zone pretty early. What this does is when an enemy unit enters a normal, advance, or fallback move within 9 inch, you can make a free normal move with this model. That generally will be a way to get yourself out of any charge ranges, you know. If your enemy is ending 9 inch and this model can make a normal move, it generally will be able to be 15 inch away, which is pretty well out of most thing in the game's charge ranges. Not everything, there will be exceptions. We then have the Apothecary Biologist. This model is equipped with Gravis armor, so it can join all our different Gravis armor units like Aggressors, Eradicators, and Heavy Intercessors. Now, it gives Surgical Precision, which is lethal hits to the unit that it joins, and the Viva Spectrum means if this model or its unit ever kill anything in close combat, you'll get an objective characteristic of 9 instead of 3 on this model, which is really, really cool. A nice, cool little utility model here, and, you know, if you can pick off something with the last wound or something, you time your attacks right and who's attacking when in the game. This can be a really cool unit to get those objective capture 9, which can really push through some objective control for you. Now, we then have the Infernus squad. This has 10 Marines in it, and they are all equipped with the Pyroblasters, which are the new version of the Flamers. Other than that, you're going to get D6 attacks at 12-inch range. They're going to have the Torrent rule, which means they will automatically hit, and they ignore cover as well, as you would expect from a Flamer. Strength 5, no AP, damage 1, and if they ever hit a unit, they can force that unit to take a Battle Shock test. Stern Guard Veterans are next, and we have a variety of different options we can take with this unit, but the kit that we get in the starter set here will have 2 of the combi weapons, which have anti-infantry 4+, devastating wounds, and rapid fire 1. And they're also going to have a Stern Guard Heavy Bolter, which is a devastating wounds, heavy, sustained hits 1 weapon with a nice strength of 5, AP -1, damage 2, and a 36-inch range. Bolter Drill is their big thing though. If they ever destroy a unit in the shooting phase, they can then immediately attack again. How we would always use this special rule is targeting an enemy unit that is close to death, and then targeting a fresh unit with their attack. So making sure, you clean up a unit first and then attack something. So target priority and when you activate different units in the shooting phase is really important to get the most out of your Stern Guard veterans. We then have Terminators, who can certainly be used as Deathwing Terminators, which are just the same equipment as the ones we have here, but also have access to all the combat weapon options. So there's no reason to not use them. They're the same points, and you're going to get some of the cool benefits of being a Dark Angel Inner Circle unit. We then have the Ballistus Dreadnought, which is a nice heavy weapon platform Dreadnought. This can have a nice big last cannon for D6 +1 damage at a 48-inch range. The missile launcher there as well is going to give it some more D6 damage weaponry, and the Twin Stormbolter as well is going to provide it with a few extra shots. You've got the Ballista Strike as well, where if this unit's ever targeting something that's not below half strength, you can reroll its hit rolls as well. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to go next? And the first of these units I'm going to talk about are the Heavy Intercessors. Now, we definitely want to bring a Gravis Armor unit into the force. This is going to allow our Apothecary Biologist to get the most out of all its rules. Without a Gravis Armor unit, we're not going to have anything to attach that model to, so we can't get, the abilities that it's going to provide them. So, Heavy Intercessors for me, they're battle line, which is really cool, and they provide us with a backfield troop killer as well, and objective holder as well. I think they go really nicely, getting some additional benefits on all their guns. They've got a nice long range, they're pretty tough as well, and will serve us as a nice solid base. Now, if we're looking at some of the other units to potentially go with, we obviously have all the different types of Terminators we can find in a Deathwing army. And the first of these are Deathwing Knights. I think these go really nice with the Captain. These models have Deep Strike, so you can come and Deep Strike down with the Captain. But you're also going to have access to the ability to reroll the charges when they come down, which is cool, thanks to the Captain's rerolls. Now, you are going to have the Inner Circle rule, where it means each time an attack is allocated to a model in this unit, you just subtract 1 from the damage, which is super, super nice. And they've got their own special weapons. So they've got the Mace of Absolution, which is on most of the models in the unit. They will have 4 attacks, 2+ to hit, strength 6, -1 AP, damage 3. Or you've got the Flail of the Unforgiven, which is only damage 2, but it is -2 AP. And has 5 attacks rather than 4, but has the sustained hits 1 and devastating wounds ability on it as well. Now, we then have the Deathwing Command Squad. This is the other sort of Deathwing unit we can bring. We've talked a little bit about Deathwing Terminators already. This is the same kit you can build these models out of. The Deathwing Terminators are that sort of mix, hybrid of both tactical and assault Terminators from the generic Codex Space Marines. But Deathwing Command Squads are going to have access to a variety of different models in there. You're going to have the Narthecium for an Apothecary, where you can potentially return destroyed models to the unit. You've got your Astartes Banner to give them some extra objective control, so making all these Terminators objective control 2 here. And you've got the Champion there, who's going to be able to be hit with Heroic Intervention for a 0 CP, and add 1 to advance and charge rolls for the units as well. Now, lastly, we have the cool different land speeders we have available to us with the Dark Angels, and my favourite is the Land Speeder Vengeance. I think this provides us with some excellent fire support. This thing is going to have, first of all, its giant Plasma Storm battery, which is supercharged, going to have, the hazardous rule, butt blast and twin linked, D6 +1 shots, 3+ to hit, strength 9, -3 AP, damage 3. So you can drop that AP and damage down to 2, and you won't have the hazardous rule, but you also won't have blah. So pretty cool there. Now, we then have the Storm of Vengeance rule on this model, which I think is really cool. Once per turn, if you're in your opponent's shooting phase, when a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit within 6 inches of this model is destroyed, this model can use this ability, and if it does so, it can attack as if it were the shooting phase, which I think is just super, super cool to be able to use. Shooting your opponent's phase as, you know, a sort of pushback is nice. It means this does become a target because your opponent will generally target this unit first, but if that's protecting your troops and holding the bodies on the ground and allowing you to keep your objective control units on the table, I think that's a win-win situation. And so here we have our sample armor list for the Dark Angels. Now, we've gone with taking the Unforgiven Task Force, which of course is the detachment we have access to as Dark Angels at the moment. But the big thing here is we've got our Captain in Terminator armor. He's going to be our Warlord, but he's not going to have our enhancement. Now, we've then got a Librarian in Terminator armor, and we've gone with the Stubborn Tenacity. We had 15 points spare, so why not grab it? But there's a big reason we've gone with the Librarian instead, because the Librarian will generally be joining the Deathwing Terminator squad rather than the Deathwing Knights, which want that Captain for the rerolls to charge in. Librarian in Terminator armor, his unit is going to be hitting on 3s with their standard shooting and combat, so it's much more useful to have Stubborn Tenacity, which gives +1 to hit, but also it does give +1 to wound as well if the unit is ever battle shocked. Now we then have the Lieutenant with Combi Weapon and the Apothecary Biologist with the rest of our characters. Battle line wise, we've got 5 heavy intercessors with a heavy bolter in their unit. We then have the Inferno Squad and the Stern Guard veterans with the loadout applicable to the unit with the combi weapons and heavy bolter based on what we get in the initial box set. We then have a Deathwing Terminator squad. This is just the loadout of the Terminator squad we have in the Leviathan box set here, but using them as Deathwing Terminators, why not? And then we have some Deathwing Knights who are taking a Watcher in the Dark as well. Vehicle-wise, we have the Ballistus Dreadnought, and we've got the Ravenwing Landspeeder Vengeance in there, with the Assault Cannon replacing the Heavy Bolter. For me, it is my preferred weapon loadout. But if you've got some ideas on Dark Angels, if you have picked up a Leviathan box set to add to your Dark Angels force, I'd love to hear your plans for it down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Alder and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members, Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.